Hey, boys and girls, and everybody else. Welcome to the Shead Show. We're your hosts, Ryan and Ian. We'll be guiding you down this alley of fuckery today. So how you doing, brother?
We're starting off just right. We also like to give acknowledgement to every hater out there. Hello, everyone.
Yes, we love you. And to the gentleman that put the $5,000 bounty on my head, thank you. I'm pissed off that I didn't collect. I told him, I said, let's meet up at the park. There's Udall Park right down the road.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think your wife collected. I'm gonna tell you right now.
She sold me out.
She got that paycheck. She got that paycheck.
Yeah, I've been looking at a Harley that reminded me of my dad's Harley that I wanted to buy, and she's been looking at a purse. So, yeah, if she comes home with a purse tomorrow, then I know I got sold out.
I'm with you on that. What's up, Patrick? What up, Doe?
Oh, is my brother here?
Tumbles. Oh yeah, Patrick's on the block, man.
Hey, what's up, brother?
The streets is talking.
Yeah, man. What's up, Tumbles? Good to see you guys here. Thank you guys
Happy
for
Friday.
tuning in this Friday. Yes. We appreciate you all spending your Fridays with us as always. And per usual, there is so much to talk about. We got a few breaking news things from today.
Can we just get a break for 1 week? Can we just have a boring ass week at least once?
What fun would that be? What fun? We'd have nothing to talk about. You and I'd be sitting on the show, like looking at the camera, like,
"What's up, bro?
How was your day? Good day."
Well, I got stories. All right, I got stories for days.
Well, yeah, you're in New York
right now.
You got stories.
I got stories.
But I think it's probably a good place to start is the attack in Russia that went down. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what.
I was going to just say to you, I'm trying to figure out, like, domestic terrorism. Was it a I mean, I know it's a developing story, right? But I know that they're in war. I know that they have pissed off enough Ukrainians to do anything they can do. I know that they just assassinated a political rival. So it's like, what do you think's going to be happening right now? Like, no one should be comfortable in Russia. I'm sorry.
No.
There's nothing in my mind where I'm thinking, things are just fine. Like, no, you have drones now, long distance coming your way. You just killed somebody who was the opposition to your dictatorship. So it's like, what loyalists are there? And it's just like, okay, is that domestic violence or terrorism or what? Because it's getting heightened, right? It just seems like the elevation is good luck, Putin. That's all I can say. You deserve the day that you create. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. Jen said something interesting to me. She goes, it was really weird seeing him celebrating, this 80% victory that he had when they're literally holding people at gunpoint, telling them how to vote, and you've killed off all your opposition.
Right.
Like, what are you celebrating? Like, this was a predetermined outcome. Like, this isn't something that we all didn't see coming.
It's going to be one of those things, man. It's going to be one of those things. It's going to be really.
So, of course, because we have compassion on this show, my thoughts and prayers are with all these folks that are dead and injured. And
anybody going to a show is not trying to be in this. This is what I don't understand. And, and this is, it always leads to, yes, it's terrorism, but it's one of those things where it's like, we don't know what's about to happen. Right. Yeah. But it's one of those things where you're looking at it. I don't live in a dictatorship yet. So it's like, here we are. You know what I mean? Like, at what point does it get to this type of escalation? But, nobody innocent needs to be on that front. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that part. It's per usual that's our stance usually, is whether we're talking about Israel, Hamas, or Russia or whatever. We're always thinking about the innocent people.
100%.
You showing up to a theater to have a night out, in the midst of all this everything going on, and like you said, their country is very unstable because of everything going on too.
Right.
And people just trying to get out.
Tumble says they were warned. I don't know fully too much about this right now, Tumbles. I don't know what was put out there in that sense. Tony says lib scum. So what up, Doe?
I said hello to the haters. Hello to the haters.
I see some friends and I see some enemies. I'm gonna quote up next on that one.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I really think that $5,000 bounty was a little low. Can we get a fact check on this bullshit? Like $5,000, that's it?
I'm gonna tell you right now, your haters are broke. That's what I'm gonna tell you. All
I
right.
mean,
Some broke
come
ass
on.
haters. Hey, just like Trump though. Just like Trump, they broke.
10, 15,000 at least. If you can afford those fake gold ass shoes, you should be able to afford a better bounty on my head now. God damn it.
Yo, Tumbles said U.S. intelligence told them. I did see that Russia
Really?
said to the U.S. that they want all the intelligence on this now. So I know that that's kind of being moved around, but the U.S. already gave them a heads up. Then I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's interesting.
What's up with nobody listening to their intelligence? What's up? Like literally, Israel, October 7th. This now, if this is the case.
Common. Yeah. Oh no, that's not going to happen. Next.
Man. Supposedly Pearl Harbor, back in the day, didn't listen to intelligence.
But what I wanted to add on to this, and as terrible as this is, I don't want to minimize it at all, but per usual, the right wing is using it to push their agenda. And I'm speaking particularly about Graham Allen. How you doing, Graham? See, he put out a post talking about this will start happening here in America if we don't shut down the southern border. Graham and everybody else that thinks like that, are you fucking stupid? Like, it's already happening here. Vegas, hello, dude standing up in a window just fucking railing people down. Do you not remember that? Like, you think that what happened in Russia today is not happening here on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Like, once again, guns are the leading cause of death among kids 18 and under. That hasn't fucking changed. And you want to know why it hasn't changed? Because you people put guns above people. That you cannot dress this up any other way than you care more about guns than watching people get shot in the street. You don't care when kids are shot at school learning long division.
No, they care about the fetus. They don't care about the child.
Exactly. You don't care when black folks are shot and they're hunted in a fucking grocery store. You don't care when black folks are shot in their own fucking church while they're reading during a Bible study.
Yeah.
You people don't give a fuck until you're trying to push your agenda. And that's what makes all of you folks disgusting human beings.
I'm just glad Beyonce didn't come out with a country album back then during Vegas show. I was going to say it.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna say, I'll be here all night, guys. I'll be here all night.
You'll be here all night.
You said it was some fuckery today. All right, I got to bring some fuckery.
We're headed for some fuckery. But before we get to the fuckery, I did want to talk a little bit about this information that came out about Princess Kate Middleton. I want to start off by saying I feel kind of shitty because I shared one joke, and even though I still think the joke was funny, it becomes a lot less funny when you find out, somebody's going through some shit like this, and, we're all kind of throwing snowballs at them, in the press and on social media. So, I felt a little small after this came out, but, it's been announced that she's dealing with some cancer and going through chemo right now. So, literally they have King Charles and Kate Middleton both dealing with cancer right now. Yeah. So I just you can think whatever you want about the royal family. I'm not going to debate that with anybody. But just like I said, I don't wish this on anybody.
No. I could tell you that she's a very nice individual. From what I met her once here in New York, and she's very pleasant, plain and simple. But that's what her role is, right? Like everybody has this role in the royal family. And what I hope is that she's healthy, she beats this, she has a lot of years left, and I really hope that nothing is cut short. But I do hope that this brings some light to the rise of cancer in our generation. Because this is something I think is very necessary. So if she becomes the face of cancer within our generation, I'm very thankful that we're now actually taking a look at what this looks like, because if it can affect somebody with her kind of healthcare, then what do you think that's happening to somebody who is a blue collar worker or anything else? So I really do hope that this brings some actual gravity to this issue, because there is an issue. I just saw my PCP and I was like, hey, I want to know full work. Like, let's go. And she was trying to give me stats, and I go, there's a rise in cancer. within young people, and I need to know what's up.
I can list 5 people off the top of my head right now that are going
You know what I
through
mean?
shit right now.
Right. And that's the thing that I'm really hoping this just brings a spotlight to it. And if it takes this type of tragedy to be somebody who in her position, then I'm hoping that this brings out at least some light to the end of the tunnel for everyone.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
And I'll say, I don't know if you watched her actual statement right there, which was playing. But at the end of it, like you just said, I thought it was extremely admirable that she's still thinking about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's in the end, she's like, you're not alone. I know there are other people going through this just like us. And like you said, it's just very relatable. And it wasn't just about, it wasn't a me thing. It was very much this is what I'm going through. Please respect, give us some privacy. But at the same time, we know that there are a lot of other people, across the world going through the same thing.
Right.
And
and I hated that it came out because of all this like Photoshop bullshit of, it's just one of those things where the tabloids will not leave her alone. Nope. I mean, the whole family, but at the same time, it's just one of the things where if they would have just got ahead of this and been like, yo, she's dealing with some shit. Like, this is what we're going through right now versus here's a photo of me. Okay. Oh, we can't hide it from you. Okay. Because you guys are literally fine, calm, going through everything.
They definitely screwed the pooch on that.
Yeah, I get it. They want their privacy, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, you're not in a position. That's your job. Your job literally is to be this fantasy for everybody to live through vicariously.
Yeah, the figurehead. But I also just wanted to add, like you said, go get your checkups because they save lives. I would, now granted, again, I had a lot of information at my disposal because of my dad. He died at 57. I was 25. And a few weeks before he died, he told me, he said, hey, I went and got these tests done. They're genetic tests, and it determines, where this cancer came from. And he started telling me, he's like, we have this in the family. It's called hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer. And it's now called Lynch syndrome for short. But at the time it didn't even have that name. It was that new. And he made me promise. He's like, go promise me you'll go get this test done. He's like, I paid thousands of dollars. He's like, all you have to do is go get the blood work done. And it's like $100 to get your blood drawn. So I took me and my older brother and we went and got the test done. And I was the only one that came back with it. So I knew at 25 that I pretty much had the same destiny as my dad did. But what it also provided me was information. And I knew that I had to go get checked every year. And I did get checked just about every year, at least every 18 months. And then when I was 36, 37, they found about 6 polyps and 2 of them were really big. So they just decided that it's time to just take the whole colon out. So I was 37 and it was kind of like, I watched my dad he took a lot of his colon out, but he tried to leave as much as he could because he didn't want the bag. He was so scared of the stoma that he would do anything to avoid it. And I remember asking his oncologist, I said, if my dad had all of it taken out, back at the first time, do you think he'd still be here? And I'll never forget, she was kind of hesitant to want to answer it, and I'm like, I'm not going to hold you to any of this. Like, this is just a conversation.
Right.
And after I said that, she was like, of course there's no way to really tell. She's like, but he probably would have had a hell of a lot better chance. Yeah.
Right.
And that was playing through my head when it came time for me to make the decision. It was like, all right, well, I've got 2 kids, and literally the surgeon that did the surgery, she made it pretty simple for me. I don't even think we got past the hello, how are you? And it was like,
take it.
Yeah. She was like, she literally put it to me just like this. She goes, I'm going to put it to you as plainly as I can. She goes, if you want to see your kids graduate from high school, she's like, you're going to let me take your colon out. And I was like, okay. And that was it. 2 weeks later, I was going on.
That was our first date.
That was our first date. And Dr. Schlender, shout out to Dr. Schlender in Tucson. She's the doctor's doctor. She is the person doctors send their family to.
Right.
And she spent extra time to make sure that I didn't get a bag because she spent an extra 3 hours trying to connect my bowels together because they wouldn't connect. And she's like, she goes, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was on my last try. She goes, and then she
Wow.
goes, and I was going to give you the bag.
Wow.
But she got it, she ended up getting it together. And, Jen was worried because I'd been, under or back there way longer than anticipated. But yeah, it was really interesting having that conversation with her, post-op. And she's like, yeah, she goes, really interesting. I've never had that problem before, and it was just to hear her walk through it all. And I just remember, if it hadn't been for Dad, I was
That
like,
conversation, man. I think about that a
he
lot.
saved my
That
life
GI
15
Joe,
years later, man.
that GI Joe conversation back in the day, man. Knowing is half the battle. It's like it's that's
It
straight up
really
facts.
is, dude.
You know what I mean? Once you know. Also, shout out to Kaylin. She made it in here. What's up,
Yes,
Kaylin?
our moderator and receipt queen. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, man.
It can be heartbreaking sometimes. Yeah, endoscopy too. So again, Lynch syndrome, it's not just your colon, it can be your kidneys and your stomach. So I have to have endoscopies too. So yeah, at the same time they're going up the rear, they're going down the throat too.
Oh yeah.
They go everywhere.
Bro, you got double stuff. That's
they
where you
get
at right now.
everywhere.
You got double stuff. Yeah, I have a crazy story that happened real quick. It was just they thought that I had cancer in my stomach, and it ended up being just really bad food poisoning. So I'm not doing any Vietnamese food for takeout anytime soon, for maybe the next, I don't know, lifetime. So it's one of those things, but it's one of those where it's like, while I'm tracking one thing, it kind of led to another thing, but I ended up in a endoscopy. So shout out to you, Tumbles, once again. Definitely in that situation. But it's like, get yourself checked out, plain and simple.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You don't want to have a colon doctor with a sense of humor. So I
jokes.
Dude, I'm on my side. This dude walks up, puts his hand on my side, and he goes, "Wow, I think we're gonna need a thicker gauge tubing." Did this motherfucker just say that? And the fucked up thing is, like, right after he says it's when they hit the plunger and you go to sleep. It's like,
yeah.
So
I ain't even got no comeback.
Got nothing. So then I'm waking up, and I'll never forget this. I'm waking up, and I'm like, you're like, I need something. Like, I feel like I said, I feel like a cat just shit in my mouth. And he comes in, he goes, "Damn, I knew I forgot to change the tubes out." I was like, "That's not funny, dude."
Wrong tube, brother. Wrong tube.
Yeah. Next time, start with the endoscopy. Damn it.
So good. Gotta love it. Man. You gotta love it. Oh, it's so point on.
Good stuff.
But
yeah, that was a weird left turn. Let's get back to the
no, man. Ass to mouth. Let's do it. Let's whatever. We gotta do. Happy Friday, guys.
I'm gonna have the email in my box from YouTube right now. We're gonna be censoring this.
They're probably throttling us already. Let's be serious.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's political stuff. Although I will say, shout out to, I don't know if Instagram is doing it, but I know that Threads is. They have an option now where you can opt in and out of political content. So I think that's a happy medium that they found. Because before they were just like we're gonna throttle all political content. People are like, right before an election, like that, like no.
It's so wild. I mean, you want to talk about
I think this is a good middle ground. I think it's a solid. It's like, okay, you got to go opt in, okay, but
you want to look for this too. Instead of looking at cat videos, you actually want to see something about another perspective online.
Not just that, but I think if you're really interested in politics and you understand the power that social media has, you're not going to have a problem going into your settings to click political content.
Right.
Yeah.
So spot on. How was yesterday's show? Do you want to talk about that right now? Or do you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So, hey, what's going on, Keith? Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple days online, but we had a show last night with Derek and Kaylin. And it was going really good until out of nowhere, the Spaces was ended. And it was funny because I text Kaylin and I'm like, jokingly, I was like, "Hey, did I say something wrong? Like, it just booted me." She's like, "No, it booted me too." And then I get a message from Derek and we're all like, "What the hell just happened?" And it was just really interesting because here we are talking about, we were talking about biracial families, interracial families, and being white fathers of Black kids, but it started, branching out into other related topics. And it was disappointing that it got shut down because we had quite a few people in there listening and participating. So, but we're going to do it again. I think next Thursday we're going to try to jump on there again and see what happens. Since we got cut off last night.
Okay. All right. Everybody, bring your teacups. Get ready.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like we said, having these conversations, hopefully it starts making families have these conversations at their dinner table. That's the goal at the end of the day. It's just like we always say, don't just take our word for the stuff we say. Go research it yourself.
Yeah.
Go have these conversations with your family. Like we aren't interested in being anybody's idol. We're interested in starting conversations. And, I think that's the type of people you should follow are the people that aren't interested in forcing you to believe what we believe. It's just, hopefully we can be a source of enlightenment to be like, hey, this is why I think the way that I think. Here's my information. Do with it what you will.
I mean, I think this is a safe space for, conservatives to just lean in on a lovely conversation.
Yeah.
I look at it.
Elmo sucks.
Yeah.
Elmo does suck.
I have no idea what happened there.
Hey, John, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get in that. We're gonna get to the impeachment in a second. So
we're gonna talk about that bitch soon. Don't worry.
Yes, very, very soon. But first, man, should I transition it this way? Nah, fuck it. Speaking of bitches.
Oh, I'm coming to you, Elizabeth. I'm coming. I'm gonna hit you with the red fox. Oh my God. Damn.
Hey, I hesitated. At least I hesitated.
I saw the wheels turning. Damn. Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay.
This is the fuckery I was speaking of.
I see it. I see it live. Here it is.
I was telling, and I posted this online, but I was telling Ian, I don't usually celebrate somebody, getting food taken off their table. I do think that that's kind of a bad look. However, somebody like Candace Owens, I really struggle to find any compassion. Like, and more importantly, when Ben Shapiro fires you on your day off, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
like,
man.
when you lose his
she was
support,
stealing boxes, man. She was stealing boxes.
You done fucked up. Am I wrong, bro?
I'm just gonna say, if you didn't see this coming, because they were bickering at each other for the longest, and I'm like, how are you gonna fight with your boss right now? Like I get if you have fuck you money, I get it. Where you're like, you don't need to have a boss. You can take care of yourself. But if you have somebody that you have to report to, how are you going to argue with them for the world to see on the World Wide Web, where you're literally over here taking shots at? So this is a quite telling individual, because this is literally just putting it all out there, and it's just like, Candace, you burn bright, and now you fade out. That's you had your run,
Hey, man,
and she'll probably have some show on X or whatever the case is, and possibly
it's coming.
You know what I mean?
He's gonna follow.
Well, Elon is a lack of black people on his network, so we'll see after what Don lasted less than 24 hours on his shit.
He's still complaining about that too.
You know what I mean? So it's just wait for it. But the conspiracy theories, everything about it, you already know this is where it's probably going to go. But it's Candace. I pay her no mind. She means, whenever I hear someone quote, and this is one of my favorite things. Whenever I argue or debate with any of my conservative friends, and they bring up Candace, and I go, she's your only black friend, isn't she? Like, you really do think, like, when you tell me you have black friends, it's Candace Owens, isn't it? I go, just tell me the truth. That's your one black friend that you have. And she plays her role. You know what I mean?
Well, that'll be interesting to see if she tries to swing more independent, trying to go out on her own now. If she tries to be more middle, that'll be interesting to see if she does that. But you know what they say, bro? Tokens are meant to be spent. And she just got spent.
Man, great transition though.
Yeah, that was a good transition. You set it up though, bro. I did
nothing. You can die on that sword by yourself. I'm not.
I came in and Happy Gilmore the shit out of it.
I just said a little to the left. That's all I said, man. That's all. God, that's
oh
good.
shit. I should be sorry for that, but I'm not.
So classic.
I'm out of class today, dude. I really am.
Hey,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
We made it to Friday. We got 0 fucks.
Yeah,
That's where we're at.
It's a fuck you Friday.
Oh
It's
shit! Is that a
definitely
new
fuck you
segment?
Friday. It might have to be. We got feelings Friday. We got fuck you Friday.
Oh yeah.
We can go in, but we can swap back and forth depending
right.
on what's going on.
All I can say is, Homegirl has not been in the game long enough to be like a Dr. Phil, where she has her own network, or like Oprah, right?
Yeah.
Like, so she's always gonna have a boss.
Yep.
But somebody like,
yeah,
something like that. So, what up, Brent?
That's what Pat said, that she's gonna do her own show, which I anticipated.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because she used to call herself uncancelable. I said, turns out she is in fact cancelable. I love it. But speaking of, let's move on to the Biden impeachment
inquiry
disaster.
Oh,
well, you can call it what you want.
Crash and burn.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. I got a video here that I wanted.
The Republican wet dream. What do you want to call it? What is this thing going to be?
Well, I think
I shouldn't even say Republican. I should say the GQP.
I'm going to show you the one video that I think ended up being probably the most important video out of the testimonies this past week.
All right.
And it's Lev Parnas basically telling them exactly who was involved. And
oh, you mean evidence? You mean actual evidence?
Yeah, actual evidence.
Got it.
And
Exhibit A.
Exactly, Exhibit A. So I want to listen to it and then kind of talk about it for a minute, because like I said, I think this was the most significant thing to come out.
Okay.
To start trying to push narratives that were not validated. We had no way to validate them. Basically, a letter would come over from somebody in Ukraine. I'd hand it over to John Solomon. Next thing you knew, he was on Fox TV 2 hours later with Sean Hannity.
Wow. At what point did Mr. Giuliani begin working directly with Russian agents and Russian assets, individuals who would later become sanctioned by Donald Trump's own Treasury Department for spreading propaganda and disinformation against Joe Biden?
It was sometime in probably around May, June of 2019.
Were you aware, was Mr. Giuliani aware that these people were basically just doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin?
Absolutely.
So he had no hesitation about spreading lies that were concocted by Russian agents?
As long as it fit the narrative, absolutely not.
How were you and Giuliani able to take these false allegations peddled by corrupt officials and Russian agents and promote and amplify them here in the United States, in our political system?
I'd like to know.
Weren't media groups skeptical of your claims?
Most media groups, I'd probably say all except for Fox and a few other right-wing media groups, didn't want to take any of the information, and that aggravated Rudy Giuliani and John Solomon and other players. And the main group that was being pushed through was Fox, Sean Hannity and some other media personnel over there. But then there was also other people that were doing the bidding for the Russian people in Congress, like Senator Ron Johnson, like Congressman Pete Sessions that sits here right now, that was with me from the very beginning in this journey into finding up digging dirt on Joe Biden.
So
my man said, point him out right now. He said, that dude right there. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I wish that the camera would have cut to see his face when that. I
know. Everybody on my when I
like this.
Like, I wish we could see his face.
Why you say me? Why you say me? Yo, pearls were clenched. Pearls were clenched.
For sure. Along with buttholes.
Wow.
Wow. Hey Brent, thanks for stopping by and hitting the like button. Hope you guys have good dinner. Sharon was talking about, if you didn't see, Elon put an X on top of the Twitter headquarters, and he lit it up, and it was so freaking bright that the people around the buildings were complaining, and they had to take it down because he was too stupid to get a permit to put it up.
Bro.
So Musk is just an idiot, but he'll probably hire what's her name, Candace Owens. But going back to this Biden impeachment, it's I think it's very telling that the same people that literally are playing a hand in letting Russia meddle in our government and our elections are the ones trying to oversee, these sham hearings. It's just ridiculous.
Well, when you point them out, literally,
yeah, like
the gentleman to the
right
left, right here,
he
was with me on this.
Yeah.
It's well, this is also it's just again evidence that's telling you exactly what's going on. Partners, he didn't go missing. He didn't change his story. He literally is giving you all the facts at this point. This is what it was. And we're talking about him putting it all on Front Street for everybody. And it's like when we say that there was some type of collusion, this is what we're talking about.
Yep.
When we're talking about that, okay, there's Russian interference. This is what we're talking about. We're not saying that Russian soldiers are sitting there at the voting booth and they have a gun saying vote for Trump. No, this isn't the Russian election.
Yeah,
not what they're doing over there.
This is what they do with Putin. Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's not what we're talking about. It's this type of proxy war that we're looking at, and it's so telling to see who is willing to just willfully go along with it instead of just citing their own sources, looking it up, or just being skeptical. As much as they call liberals sheep, it's like you guys literally just fall in line just to get the good old right in there, and it's quite telling. It's quite telling.
It really is. I mean, and like I said, so like you said, the sheep aren't the ones that go and do research. No. The sheeps aren't the ones that go out of their way to try to understand what's going on. The sheeps are the people that, listen to Donald Trump and, those type of folks and just start parroting whatever they're saying.
Right.
And
that small clip on Instagram is enough information for them that has been clearly heavily edited and given to them, served hot.
And the bad thing is you've got Trump doing campaign rallies where he's standing up and saluting while they're, doing or playing the national anthem for the January 6th prisoners that they call them. Like
those prisoners
right there, they should have had the military come in and drag that piece of shit off the fucking stage right there. Oh, you want to salute the insurrectionists and the fucking criminals? Come with us.
Hey man, same people complaining about the so-called Black American anthem. It cracks me up, man.
Exactly.
Me up. Same people.
It is. It's the same freaking people.
But I'm not worried about arguing with them because nothing even makes sense. They literally stand for nothing, therefore they fall for everything.
Yep. But it's just like the flag code. They always
wearing a flag. Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, it's like
you're disrespecting a flag. Are your underwear an American flag? You're rubbing your
ball sack on my
my flag. Okay. Okay.
So needless to say, this impeachment thing is not going well for them. And the best part, I think, was when AOC was asking Bob Dupadoop or whatever his name is.
That was his name at first. I'll say Bob Dupadoop. It's like, okay, Dupadoop.
But she goes, okay, so you're going after him claiming a RICO case, but what
name a crime?
Name a crime under the RICO Act that you
name
are. It. Yeah, name it. And he's like, well, clearly you don't understand the RICO. She was like, bitch,
how much time do I have to?
Yeah,
you got 5 minutes.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes. Let's go.
Let's go.
And then but he kept trying to make it sound like she didn't know what she was talking about. It's like, dude, it's not. A RICO Act is it's not charging him with a specific crime. What a RICO Act is that you have a crime that a bunch of people fucking committed, and you're going to be able to go after them with one case.
Right.
And if you can't understand that, then maybe your dumb fucking ass shouldn't have been testifying in front of Congress.
I literally, no, please, a lot of them are dumb. That's all that showed me. A lot of people failed upward. All right, that's all I'm seeing right now.
Speaking of failing upwards, what? It's not on the outline. Rona McDaniels is she got a job over at MSNBC.
Oh,
so she gets fired from the
NBC. She's on NBC.
Is it NBC?
NBC.
I thought it was MSNBC. My bad.
NBC.
Anyway, she's on one of them fucking channels now. So she got a job after getting booted out of the Republican Party. I go, this is what you call failing up.
Well, that's just someone trying to get a paycheck because they also equally do not have fuck you money. So that's all that is because they get paid, for being a commentator. But, we'll see how long that lasts for, whatever the case is. When she ends up on The View, then we could talk about failing upward. Okay.
The View's
Hey man, things come back, things whatever. I'm just saying in general. True. You know what I mean?
Am I wrong about that though? I thought I heard it was canceled.
I don't know. I just use it as a
yeah, you're like,
call me out, Ryan. Get off the show.
Sorry, sorry.
But no. But what I mean though is
he's like, please, you'll never shut up.
We need those Ryan rants in our diet. Okay, I'm telling you right now. We need those Ryan rants.
It's good for me. It's good for my blood pressure, actually.
Good for everybody. Okay. One thing I find what was so telling though is that how people try to cut footage, like we said, and put out misinformation and really dox some of these back and forths. And so for AOC, some of my conservative, what gets my blood boiling in a good way. These friends of mine send me these clips and they're like, she's a fucking idiot. She doesn't know what she's talking about. See? And I go, you know what RICO is though, right? And they go, yeah, right. Oh, I forgot. You're just as stupid as her. I go, oh, fuck. I go, okay. Name a case. Name Google, anything. Bitch. Just anything. Jaywalk. Google. Name something. Just anything. Well, he jaywalked. Okay, great. At least you named something. Okay. But if it was like wire fraud, like you said, if there was a number of crimes that people are all tied together, much like Georgia, and this is where we're at, Ryan. Anything that Trump is literally facing, they are trying to project onto Biden. That's all. That's the end of the conversation. Crime, family, this, that, third, whatever, it doesn't matter. None of it's real. And the thing that you have to keep in consideration is that for the next number of months leading up to November, they are going to literally project all of this onto Biden and his folks. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
April from Brooklyn Heights says, love you too. My mom was the NYC deputy mayor for economic development and was in court all the time with Trump. She told us kids that not only was his corruption so egregious, but his cruelty as well. My mom knew. NYC knew. Yeah, I mean,
we all know. I'm here in New York. We laugh at this dude daily, and I'm telling you right now, Letitia is about to take his shit. She is ready. She is not playing around.
I'm ready. I'm ready to watch it.
I'm gonna tell you. No disrespect, some disrespect to Fani. Letitia ain't fucking around.
No, she's
okay. Not. You ain't catching her slipping, and you could tell the way she was looking at him in court, sitting there looking at him in court.
She looked like a lion, fucking just waiting.
She said, "I'm taking all your shit," and some of the information that's coming out right now, and even some of these stupid ass conservative friends. I shouldn't say stupid. Some of these conservative friends of mine are even trying to still force feed the bullshit of like, well, Mar-a-Lago was dubbed being 29 million. It's really 290 million. I go, and that's the point. It's called, you're literally stating exactly what the whole case of this fraud is. He takes his properties that cost very little, and then he overestimates them, and then he tries to get money for that. That is fraud. If he did 10, 20, okay, so it's 29, and I'm just gonna say it's 35 just to get a little extra money. That's what they say people do. There's a buffer there. But to go and times it by that much to then try to get, it's like, yes, that's pretty much fraud. Yeah, that's fraud. I don't care who you are. That's fraud. So here we are.
Speaking of taking a shit though, he has come out and said or claimed that he has $500 million in cash to fund his campaign.
His ego,
he couldn't afford bond.
His ego will not let him. He will not let him
shut the fuck up. His lawyers are sitting in a room somewhere right now looking at each other and going, will this dude just shut the fuck up?
He can't.
Like, what do we have to do to shut this fucking guy up?
Like, he can't. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. He cannot. It's impossible. And here's the thing. Come Monday, we will all know. And you know me. I'm like, let's wait and find out. I'm not going to say he doesn't have it. Truth Social is right now on the investment tip. They're trying to go public, so that's going to bring him some cash. Let's be serious.
Holly Berry said, yeah, me too, under my bed.
Here we are, man. I mean, it's just happening.
Oh my God. This guy, like you said, he just won't let the truth come out. He won't admit it.
No,
like you said, he's probably going to get an influx of cash with this. I can't believe it.
But here's
he's
Missy.
Getting bailed out. He's getting bailed out.
Well, Missy's bringing up a great point about the RNC. Now to see how they're going to cipher right off the top from the RNC is going to be quite quite interesting to see how this all plays out.
Okay,
Because
so what we're talking about, guys, is Missy said, can they garnish the super PAC money that's being fed now by the RNC?
well, you know what's
Yeah,
happening.
that is a good question.
You know what's happening about that
Yeah,
is he's getting the first percentage before it even gets to the RNC to
yep,
pay off all his bills.
right off
And
the
it's like
top.
this is what they were trying to stop before he cleared all the heads that were going to fight him on this.
Yep,
That's why he put everybody in charge. That's why McDonald got booted because she wasn't
nepotism.
going along with this.
Yep.
And this is why his daughter-in-law is, you know, the number 2. It's all it's the takeover.
Watch Rona McDaniel freaking just destroy him when she gets on that show.
Let's see.
That-
Let's see.
Let me see what somebody said about the merger. Rodrigo said the merger isn't as valued as they say. Who wants to buy stock in True Social? It will be interesting, you know, to see what the actual value is and how it all shakes out. I'm just disappointed that anybody would come bail this prick out.
I think this is where you're gonna start seeing the hidden money. Saudi, China, Russia, they could buy
Yeah.
stock, you know.
Yeah.
So you guys got to keep this in
There's
mind.
going to be a lot of
who's
Russian
buying.
and Chinese money in there.
Do you know what I'm saying? This is where the outside investors come into play.
Maybe
the
more
thing
Saudi
with-
though. I think maybe they might have more Saudi ties than I think.
I mean, Jared does, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jared does. I mean, we all know how much he got. So yeah, I mean, but this is what we're looking at. This is what's going to be happening, right? This is
Yeah.
how they, especially with Elon saying he wasn't going to donate to either party. But that's not stopping super PACs. Anybody can donate to a super PAC, and you can do as much as you want without telling anybody how much. So if that then super PAC is going to donate to the RNC, that's also one way to funnel. So this is the part that we talk about dark money. So it's just stay tuned. That's it.
Yeah.
Monday's going to be very telling. And also he does have bankruptcy. That is also an option for him. But here's the thing. I don't know if we have any broke ass jokes coming in trying to be president. Like, oh, this is the first broke ass president we got right here.
Claiming
He will do
bankruptcy,
anything.
why he's
He'll
running
give
for
you,
president.
you know what I mean? He'll give you the new codes just because he needs $1. Like this is where we're at right
Like
now.
I said, all of this should have rendered him I can't find the word. Ineligible. He should be ineligible to even run. The fact that he is still allowed on the ticket and that the Supreme Court is basically saying that the states can't control that is mind blowing.
But here's the thing. He can't even be a secretary with this kind of trouble.
No.
In the White House.
He can't even run businesses in New York.
Well, that's I'm saying in general, like he can't hold any position other than presidency.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be wrong.
Dude, let me tell you something. I have had to go through security clearance checks 3 times in my life to hold a secret clearance. And this motherfucker couldn't pass the clearance check for the janitor in the hangars that I worked in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's not a fucking joke.
Oh, 100%.
He couldn't even pass a basic background check.
He couldn't be a custodian.
I'm not even talking about a secret background check, guys. No. I'm talking about a confidential, check that they give to anybody that's never been arrested. Like,
he couldn't be a custodian. He couldn't be a plumber at the White House. He couldn't be anything.
I wish that weren't true, but it is.
Yeah. Rodrigo. Talking about he's compromised and that the Dems can beat him over the head with it. It will be public. It's not going to be. The thing about super PACs is you don't have to tell where you got your money from, and that's the issue that a lot of us patrons need to really actually focus on. We need it. They call it dark money in politics. We need to remove it.
Is that stat true, Kaylin? She said the RNC paid more in Trump legal fees last month than they took in from donors, almost $200,000 per day.
Oh no, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. They're actually spending more money than they're making. This is why Trump is literally with the RNC combined only at 44 million, and Biden is at close to 150. Like it's starting to look ridiculous looking at how much money is going towards Biden, and this is something that's really very evident for everybody to pay attention to. Money is talking behind Biden. And by that I mean small donations, the people who want him as president, and also the bigwigs. Trump has literally milked his base dry for the past 4 years with all his stunts, all his BS, everything from the shoes, the NFTs, all this other nonsense. And now he's begging for $1 from anybody at this point. They don't have it. They don't have it.
They already sent it to you.
Do you know what I mean?
And the other people, they died on hospice, giving you their last dollar.
Oh yeah, and don't you ever question Kaylin on this because she tells you she has receipts. Don't.
Oh no, she's the receipt queen. She's the receipt queen on Twitter. I'm the receipt king. I literally texted her one day and I said, hey, I just wanted to make sure it's cool with you if I could start calling myself the receipt king, and she was like, yeah, that's fine.
Oh man, hey, he biting your style, Kaylin. He biting your style, girl. Killing it. You killing the game. By the way, and everybody, thank you for joining us right now. We want to tell you, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, join us. This is what we do on Fridays. We're here to talk about all the BS that may go down in politics and current events, and we try to bring the fuckery. So join us, tune in. We have a good time, and we hope you do too.
Absolutely. And I like what Tumble said here too, because it's a very good point. All the Haley backers and the people that are voting for Haley in these primaries, a lot of them are going to be Biden voters,
right?
Because they really, if the videos of some of these people, and I know it's not a ton, but there's a good solid bunch of videos coming out of people being like, yeah, I vote for Haley, and if she doesn't win, I'm voting for Biden.
Oh yeah.
And
I
think that's very telling, and I'm happy to hear so many people saying that, because that's all I want. Like, I'm not telling you you shouldn't be a Republican. I'm not telling you shouldn't be a conservative. I'm saying that it's time to clean house.
Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah, just don't be an asshole. Actually, be willing to get some things done. Like, I get we're not always going to see eye to eye on things, and we're probably always going to fight over certain things, but what's going on right now, this division, this inability to get even the simplest of tasks done, even though they were able to get the bill passed, or the budget.
What happened today?
Yeah, the Omni bill.
Oh yeah.
Is that next on the list? Sorry, let me.
It can be. We can move into it.
Is it not on there? I don't think
it was not on there. It was not on there.
I don't see it.
What I love about, especially what Kaylin just chimed in with, was Florida's primary. Why is it that Haley beat DeSantis in Florida just recently as well? It just shows you how much of a failure he is. She beat him. She beat DeSantis in the primary in Florida. Trump took 53%, then Haley, and then DeSantis.
Well, yeah, the reason for that is because DeSantis wouldn't have been.
That's why, because he sucks.
Well, yeah, but there's another reason, because he wouldn't have been on the early ballots, I don't think. So a lot of Haley votes, were because they were early ballots before she dropped out. So
as I said, that's their governor right now in real time. If they were all about him, they would have backed him.
Speaking of,
right in or not.
I don't have anything else, but I'm glad you brought douchebag up. So there's a video out there. It's on my page if you want to go look at one of my pages. Ron DeSantis signed a bill in Miami outlawing homelessness, basically, making it so they can all get arrested and all that stuff, which we know doesn't work. And it really only benefits areas that have for-profit prisons. So, but I want to talk about my current home state of Arizona, Sedona, Arizona. The city council approved 6-1 for there to be an area built for people to live in their cars if they have to. They have to live in the city, but they're having such an issue with the housing costs and people working in the city not being able to afford houses anywhere near there that they have to come up with something. So
that's happening here in New York as well. It's happening everywhere.
Yep. So they're gonna start with 40 spots, and it's going to be from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. There will be somebody there, like security, to make sure that everybody in there is safe, and that they feel safe sleeping in their car. And what I did like was that the mayor and the city council came out and said, look, we're approving this, but we aren't real happy about it. This isn't a great look. It isn't a great place to be, but we need to do something, and this is a stopgap for right now until we can come up with something better. And I just really like that they weren't blowing the horn like it was some kind of win. It was more of like, this sucks that this is where we're at, but we got to do something, and this is gonna, at least get us to tomorrow. So I hope more people start more jurisdictions start taking in what New York and Arizona here are doing, because something's got to give.
Conversation that it really is, because it's like I live in Red Hook, right? I live in Brooklyn, and one of the biggest things is that the conversation is that people are getting pushed out more and more and more. Plain and simple, working class. And it's like, where do you expect everybody to go? And then if you have a job, if you're an essential worker, whatever the case is, if your commute becomes so much harder to get to work, you're not going to work in the city anymore. You're not going to work in these areas. You're going to be looking for other, other
easier,
avenues,
closer to home.
Plain and simple, 100%. And in these situations, you have to look. Yeah, go Brooklyn. I'm with you. But it's one of those things where you look at how we have to find a way that makes this work for everybody. And I will say that New York has been really phenomenal when it comes to trying to build infrastructure that gives a portion even to these luxury buildings, where it goes to people so we can keep the sustainable system at play. But something needs to change. Something absolutely needs to change.
Absolutely. And I like what a girl from Brooklyn here has to say. It says, what I worry about are these vanity campaigns like Cornel West, RFK Jr., no labels, etc. I'm probably most worried about RFK Jr. at this point. Unless I'm missing something, I don't think Cornel West is even close to being a player.
I used to be a huge fan of Cornel West. I don't
man.
really stand. It's almost like the Dick Gregory. Like I've seen him change, and maybe it's me. Maybe I changed. Rightfully so.
I think 20s, I'm feeling the same way you are, though.
Yeah, but there's a thing where I feel like some of it, the message is lost, and looking at even how some of his terminology, which we've talked about privately, we've talked about even on the show, his views on Israel in general. You could separate government versus the people, and I just never really appreciated how he really kind of took the conversation into a place where I felt it was not necessary. But somebody I thought was just so articulate, so smart, so brilliant, so ahead of our time. I just feel it's almost like the Dick Gregory, where it's like it was this amazing, smart, brilliant comedian who then seemed like it was more conspiracy theory and just kind of off his rocker in a way. And I'm just like, where we at?
Interesting, because Dick Gregory and George Carlin were very similar in that way. Maybe for different reasons, but they both really got very jaded and even, like you said, even close to conspiracy
Ryan,
theories.
Look at us. It's like, bro, there's no star-eyed.
Yeah, I used to watch that motherfucker all the time. So I mean,
oh my God. It's one of those things where, it's like, as we're getting older, it's like, and you're seeing the system not really bend and not really shift. You just see this pendulum swing back and forth to bullshit, to more bullshit. You're like, well, wait a minute. I've been calling this out for how long? Like, even Frank Zappa. I've been looking at old clips, listening to him talk, and I'm like, wow. It's like they really were ahead of their time calling it out, because they could see the writing on the wall. Yeah. And here we are. And where would they be right now in today's world, looking at what we're front and center, to see a joke like Donald Trump? I'm sorry, he's just a joke. And when they talk about that, the world's laughing at us, I literally could pull up footage right now of the UN laughing at Donald Trump talk.
Oh, I know, that was, I'll never forget that.
Do you know what I mean?
And then he kind of giggles, and he's like, "Didn't expect that."
I didn't expect that. Yeah, because no one can. You are a joke. Plain and simple. There's nothing else I can say to you about that. You are a joke. You are an embarrassment. So here we are.
Missy said there are rumors that Trump is going with RFK for Jr. for VP. That actually scares me. I'm not gonna lie. That actually scares me a little bit. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But
I mean, right now, minus the CGI black folks that are in every picture with Trump, he needs the black vote. That's something that he's really pushing for. I think Tim Scott has a big push. Tim Scott and his make-believe girlfriend are something that are really, like, giving people hope. It has to be either that or a woman. I'm sorry. If he goes with anybody else.
Well, okay, here's a good question for you guys. Who, if it was a woman that Trump picks, who do you think it would be? I want to see what you guys think in the comment. No Aaron Rodgers. I know I saw that and I was like, really?
Hey man, put him next to Tom Brady. Something went wrong with Aaron.
Entertainers are bad enough. Now you want to put athletes that have been hitting the head repeatedly in charge of things? Jesus Christ.
CTE, man. We need to get that brother checked out.
They all got it. They've all got it.
Well, Carrie Lake is a very interesting one. You could contest to that one, Ryan, but I would say your girl Nancy Mace. Don't get it twisted, Nancy Mace.
You say that. I actually think that that's one of the reasons Nancy Mace has taken an even harder right turn is because
100%. They're all trying.
She knows she's in the conversation.
She just spoke with Bill Maher this last week, and he asked her straight point blank. They're saying your name is on the docket. Are you interested? She goes, "Who wouldn't be?" And then she goes, "I mean, it would be such an honor to be there for the country." And it's like, oh yeah. Third trap. Got it.
Yeah, she wants the spotlight. She wants the power, and for all the fucking wrong reasons. That's become evident.
It's really one of those things.
So actually, that's I want to talk real quick before we go into MTG. I want to talk about Republican rep.
Wait, real quick. Tulsi Gabbard. That one pulled. That one pulled where I said, "Oh, I could see that."
Tulsi. I could see that Tulsi
because they're trying to get that. They're trying to get that middle ground, right? She's middle leaning really far right these days.
Yeah,
but
she's a foreign asset. Fuck that woman.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
In my opinion, she should be dragged out of the fucking military immediately.
Yeah.
Fucking immediately.
Interesting.
I think she's still in the reserves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the fact that she took the same oath I do and is spreading the shit that she does online infuriates me.
I mean, so did Trump. Well, no, he didn't. He didn't take the oath.
He didn't?
No. He just swore on a Bible.
Yeah, that little fucking coward. Trump wouldn't have made it past day 2 of boot camp. The minute they pulled out the fucking needles for the immunizations, he'd have been like, "Oh no, you're gonna hit me with that 6 times, and then you're gonna give me one in the ass? Oh god!"
Him and
take this penicillin
Kennedy
shot in your ass and shut the fuck up.
Go so for good.
Not only that, they give you the penicillin shot, and then they go, "Now we're gonna go for a run." And you just got a big ass needle stuck in your butt, and you got a big. I don't know if you've ever gotten a penicillin shot, but they give it to you in the military when you're getting it.
Yeah.
And when they give it to you, it's cold. So what I remember my TI telling us, he goes, "Okay, you guys are going to have to get the penicillin shot," because they don't do it all the time. They only give penicillin shots out for groups that come in during certain times of the year.
Right.
And so I was in during that time, and I remember our TI said, when they give you that penicillin, he goes, "Start rubbing that shit as fast as you can to heat it up." He goes, "The hotter you get it, the easier it's going to go in." Like we were going, how big's the needle going to be? Jesus, this sounds bad. Yeah, just pull your shorts down. Shut up.
You've been violated.
You're about to be violated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I always laugh because they're talking about, "Oh, you don't know what they're putting in you," and it's like, yeah, no shit. I was in the military. I walked down an assembly line, and literally it was like, boop, one in that shoulder, boop, one in that shoulder, boop, boop, 2 in that shoulder, and then one in the ass. It's like, I had no idea what they were hitting me with.
You could have bought me a drink first before all this, but here we go. Here we go.
I was black and blue on both shoulders, and I had a golf ball in my butt. That's all I knew.
Didn't sit well for a week.
Dude, here's something really funny, and anybody out there that's been to boot camp, you'll laugh because you know it's true. So again, the TI is actually trying to look out for you, and he's like, "Look, anybody that's in the top bunk, don't jump out of the top bunk like you normally would tomorrow," because he's like, your leg's going to give out on you because of where they put that penicillin shot. Sure as shit, the next morning, man, a couple of dudes tried to jump out of the rack, and they fell like a fucking skeleton. It just was like, boom.
They just collapsed. See, that's the type of stuff that you just need to see it. Just like, boom. Man, he told you. He told you.
Oh, uh-oh.
Just folded.
Can you hear me?
You're good. I can hear you just fine.
Just
folded.
Yeah. Oh, dude, just folded down to the ground. And of course, we're all laughing, but like the last thing you want to do is go get recycled to the med unit because you freaking fell out of your bunk.
It's like those 90s sitcoms where you just see the dummy thrown out the window. It's like the B shot of somebody falling out and boom, hits the ground. Then they
Penicillin
cut back
shots
to the
are
footage
hot
of the
like
person.
telling you they're hot like.
God,
If
man.
you've never had a penicillin shot, I hope you never have to have one. They aren't enjoyable.
Shit's a hot lava. Let's
Telling
go.
you, it doesn't feel good. So, but yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, Carrie Lake, Nancy Mace.
Gnome, I don't know about. I feel like there's something off about that one. But I mean, I know she's had the marital.
Her, yeah.
There's been some marital issues also with her and sleeping with the other senator or governors, some governor, whatever, some infidelity. There's some infidelity on hers. But hey, you know, it that used to matter, not anymore. Yeah. It's off the table.
And before, oh my God, it's already been an hour. We're not even halfway through the fucking.
We love to talk, brother.
Holy
love
shit.
to talk. Let's just keep it going. Let's see where we go.
So Kaylin said, anyone who thinks that that takes the spotlight away from Trump, that's the thing. He doesn't want anybody that's going to outshine him, and he's going to make sure of that.
Yeah, but he hates women.
Nancy Mace is going to be trying to grab that mic all the time.
Nah, but you know he's going to grab something else. So here's the thing: is that he's going to control her, though. You know,
he's going to go right over that one.
He's just going to go right over that one. We're just going to keep it moving, brother. If you know, you know. All right, that's the last episode, so we're just going to lean right back into that. So, but you know he can control her, and that's the thing that she's going to fall in line. You know, she might be yiping a little bit at first, but everybody's gotten in line. And it's just more so of what kind of crazy can he control, because he's trying to get the middle ground, right? It's not going to be this Katie Britt girl anymore. That's gone. You know, that kind of let's really hone in on the
yeah, she's done.
You know what I mean? Like
it's herself off that list.
They were like, the Oscar goes too. This crazy bitch. It's just one of those situations, and I don't mean no disrespect, but all disrespect. Bitch, that shit was crazy.
She's a special one. She's a special.
So. But you can't have someone crazy like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is playing her position. Her position is just to create chaos. She's that agent of just disruption.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that.
It's one of those things. Everybody, so it's going to be somebody that can just kind of fit into that household. We could dress you up. You could be certain things, but we need you to get this specific voter. So we'll see what comes out. But so I don't know, man.
I want to talk real quick about the people that are fleeing the sinking ship, the rats that are fleeing the sinking ship of the Republican Party. We have Republican Mike Gallagher has come out and said that he will be leaving Congress pretty much immediately. And for those who forgot from the last show we did, Ken Buck, Republican from Colorado, today was his last day. He bounced. And this is leaving the House with quite the predicament, because now
one more bites the dust. You're looking at a 2017-2013 lead, and Republicans only can lose one seat vote.
Yep.
That's it. They need more Democrats now to lean over to assist, because if they lose just one seat, and you know that party.
I will say, you know, for all the times that we trashed the Democratic Party for messaging and all that kind of stuff, I will say that they have really stuck together well when it comes to this kind of stuff in Congress. They've all picked their guy. It's Hakeem Jeffries, and if they're
talking about Democrats,
yes,
okay.
They, you know, like I said, you know, I trash them for messaging all the time. I think we could do much better. But seeing how they've all stuck together, you know, when it counts in the House, like that has been reassuring, because they're playing to win, and they're just, like you said, they're just waiting for the crack to widen enough that they can deliver the blow. And like you said, it's only going to be one or two more, and they're done. And we're not even talking about 2024 yet of other seats they may lose, you know, just in the vote. You know, these are seats they're losing because their own people in their own party are leaving to purposely screw them over. Like, make no mistake, guys. There's only one reason people sitting in Congress do this. Well, I'm sorry, there's only two. One is that they get a job that they have to take immediately, so they have to resign. You know, that has happened. Yeah. Or this shit. So they're trying to screw the party on purpose. And it's literally them walking out and just being like the middle finger as they walk out the door.
And Missy brings up a good point. A lot of these people are also seeing the writing on the wall, where a lot of the money, the campaign funding from RNC, is not going to go to them, because that money is supposed to be spread across the board to help. And if it's going to go to Trump and be ciphered, and they're like, why am I going to do all this? Why am I going to get all this money to put into the pot so then we can just pay for this dude, pay his tab? Yep. And that's the thing that I find so interesting about the Republican Party right now, because, and this is going to lead into Feelings Friday for who we got. And it's one of those things where it's like, you guys don't have it right now. You ran off, as lemmings do, off the cliff to literally do this impeachment inquiry, where you knew it was a failing. It was a failing task at hand. You're not running on any platform. You're losing all messaging when it comes to abortion, and you're losing literally on what the next steps are, because now you're going after IVF. Next is contraceptives. Like, you're really just tripping over yourself, and you're not finding your footing. And when people tell me, well, it's about immigration and it's about, I'm like, I'm gonna tell you right now, your wife hates you. Okay. Any conservative, I'm telling you right now, she's not telling you the truth. She's looking at you and she's just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to
just appeasing you to shut myself.
Yep. Just exactly. Have your drunk rant, whatever the case is. And I'm telling you, when voting comes, there's going to be a coming to Jesus moment where people are going to be like, do I really want this bullshit in office? They know what they have. There's it. And we're not even at the height of any of the campaign, anything,
no, we're not.
Right? And the treasure trove that Biden has is just waiting to jump on it. And I love that Joe Biden told some folks at a campaign in Colorado, where he said, this old man came up to me and told me how hard things were for him, and that he's broke, and that this just today and age is just not helping him. And he looked at me and says, Donald, I can't help you. And I'm like, yo, Joe's telling jokes. Yeah. Sleepy Joe is telling jokes.
He's come out with some good ones.
Okay, brother, I see you. And he's taking his achievements on the road where Trump is not. And so it's quite interesting to see how this is playing out.
I actually agree. Is it Migdalia? Hopefully I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. You said if Trump went, or she said, shit, I'm so sorry. I'm fucking up all over the place, aren't I? Anyway, said if Trump wins, it will be our last election. I actually totally agree with that. Because it not only will it be bad because Trump will have the reins for however many years, but it's also going to show the rest of the country and the world like that this is where we're at. We elected a fucking dictator. Mm-hmm. Like we literally just pulled Russia and
Viktor Orban. Perfect example.
Yep, perfect. Thank you. So this is where we're at, guys. This isn't. I wish it was hyperbole. I wish we were, we were blowing smoke out our ass and we were full of shit, but we're not.
Right.
And I'll say to you what I said earlier in the show. Don't just take our word for anything. We do try to put up articles and show you that we're not just, pulling these talking points and the stories that we talk about out of our butts. We want you to see where we get it from. But I also want you guys to go do your own research, because I want you to form your own opinion on these things. Like I said, the point of our show isn't to get you to, follow Ian and I like some lemmings. The point of our show is to get everybody to talk about these things at their dinner tables, and more importantly, go research these things for yourself. Don't even listen to the freaking people in Congress, standing up at the microphone like Nancy Mace. Go double check everything that these people say.
What am I?
And I'm not just talking about Republicans, even the Democrats. Fact check them all the time. It's okay to fact check people.
And I'm gonna put this on blast.
Please.
Mendez, Democrat, you gotta resign. You gotta go. I'm sorry. You had gold bars on you stamped, and this was all documented. You gotta go. All right. And if you want to talk about running for independent, I hope someone beats you so bad in your district, because you gotta go. I'm tired of it. We got to call them all out. And the thing that we see more so of the corruption is coming from these jokers who are trying to literally put in a wannabe dictator.
Yeah. And again, what Rodrigo said, think of all the sycophants that would fill the administration, Trump's administration. I like I like what Missy said, and I think Jen and I have a similar pact with ourselves. Said if Trump wins, Hubs is retiring early, and we're on a sailboat till Trump perishes.
I told you this already. If Trump doesn't, if he stops, I think he's gonna die. I really feel like he has to stay at this pace because he is that old that like when you retire, things start slowing down.
Yeah.
I feel that if he slows down something's going to give within there. Something.
I mean, he's still doing the drugs. So I think as long as he keeps the, whether it's Coke or Adderall, I don't know what it is, but he's definitely doing something. But let me ask you this. Do you feel, let me ask this the right way. Hang on a second. Luna, you okay, girl? Okay, that was weird. Sorry, she was like making some weird noise. She's asleep. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let me ask you this. Do you think will it be bad if I celebrate when Trump dies?
I mean, everybody has their way of grieving.
That's the problem. I won't be grieving.
I'll be poppy. You didn't hear what I was saying.
No, the sarcasm. I mean,
everybody has their way of grieving.
It's
just how you grieve,
I'm so not that person that walks around like wishing, ill on people, but fuck, things would be just.
I don't wish ill will, but I'm just saying to you that,
cholesterol do its fucking job. You know what I mean? Like
something. I'm a big believer in karma, and I would never want that wished. Yes. I'm just saying, ask me this: will I give a fuck the day he dies?
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Yeah,
I won't.
He was
like racist. He was racist here in New York for a long time.
Everybody's like, no.
Don't
worry about it. There will be
all you liberal scum. I blame Biden for this. I blame Biden.
It says I don't drink and I'm having a couple that day. Yeah.
It's one of those things where and that's what I mean by everybody's going to grieve in their own way, and it's just like when this dude goes, he goes, and that's it. Yep. It's just going to happen.
All right. Well, let's move on to since we're an hour and 12 minutes in, let's move on to Feelings Friday. We're halfway through the show, guys.
This is our favorite segment, Feelings Friday. We call out somebody for this week, and what we're looking at is Marjorie is definitely winning. Ding, ding, ding. Feelings Friday. What we like to talk about for Feelings Friday is that Homegirl is trying to throw a monkey wrench into the system once again. So we may see Johnson has voted his last bill.
Yep.
So just think about this. How many times did it take the last two House speakers? Because they dog walked McCarthy, and then they just had this field day bringing in Johnson. And we know that they're disarray. But this is the part that is really interesting. This is an election year. If you can't get your shit straight for this year to finish strong, anything, and get on board with each other, what does that tell you about where their party is? Yeah. So Marge, you... chef kiss, you walked right into it, and you are literally showing everyone how unorganized, how disingenuous, how much misinformation you guys want to share. You guys are not moving as a party that is actually for the people. You guys are just showboating and full of shit.
Yeah.
And so for that, you get Feelings Friday.
Congratulations, Marge. Your trophy's on the way.
All you new guys joining us, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button.
Absolutely. And I just want to add on there. Let me be clear of what they're saying they want Speaker Mike Johnson to do. Marjorie Taylor Greene is shooting this warning over the bow because she's upset that Mike Johnson and the GOP did not shut the government down.
Mm-hmm.
They're upset that they passed a bill to keep the government going. So I tell you that to tell you this. This is what happens when we do not hold domestic terrorists accountable. Marjorie Taylor Greene should have been booted out of Congress weeks after she started. She should be in fucking prison right now instead of on Congress trying to boot out everybody that doesn't push her extremist agenda. Like,
Right.
and she's going to win this next election because her district is so fucking red. Like, you could put almost any
going against her. Flowers. Check him out if you guys haven't learned about this guy.
I know Marcus. I don't think he's running against her.
Is he not running again?
He's running for something, but I don't think he's running against her.
He was originally running against her.
I know he did last election cycle, but I don't think
he's not coming back for a second round. Okay. All right.
No,
all right.
Not against her, I don't think. I gotta go look it up. But yeah, Marcus Flowers, by the way, if you don't know who he is, he's a great guy. He's been on my show before. So yeah, he's a great dude in Georgia. I believe he's still in her district, which is Georgia 4th, I think. But yeah, no, Marcus Flowers is a good dude. But there's also, I think there's Sean Harris is another person I think in that district running. Okay. So anyway, like we just got done saying, don't just take our word for it. Go check and see who's running against Marjorie Taylor Greene if you are interested in supporting the candidate that is trying to get her the heck out of Congress.
Yeah. And then come back and educate us so we know what we're talking about.
Fuck, we're talking about.
Again, too much shit happening. Oh, and that's a perfect chime in also. Guys, we are going to rely on you to help us name this show. This show that you're watching right now, we want you to chime in the feed. Let us know in the comments what you think the name of the show is. We're going through this. We're going to talk to Kaylin about when we need to wrap it up and actually have it, but we got some things coming along. Ryan is definitely building something great on this platform, and he brought me along for the ride. So help us name this show, and we're going to have some more stuff on these Fridays.
And with that, I'm going to pivot into the Supreme Court. They ruled this week that Texas can start enforcing their immigration law, which is basically booting people back. What do you think about this one, brother?
States' rights. So where is that? Where is that with elections? Where is that with women's bodily autonomy? Where is that with how they kind of handle security? I find it to be like a gray area where it's like, okay, should they have that? I mean, how brutal is it going to get? I think these are things that we need to have an honest conversation. Should the nations, I mean, if they're going to use this busing tactic on everybody, then absolutely need to shut the shit down. But if they're going to keep things at bay, I mean, there was just footage that dropped today of immigrants storming, the little barricade. And it's like, okay, well, how do we, of course, and the news is like taking it, running with it, but how do we create a better system? And the part that gets me is that Republican senator who literally was uttering the words during Biden's State of the Union, and he was agreeing with everything Biden was saying about fixing the problem, and it was all a sham because Trump said to shut it down, and he wants to make it an issue for the election. This is the problem with Trump. It's always showboating. It's never really about fixing any problems. And the thing that I find so interesting is that a real possible solution could have been put on the table, and this is where we're playing games with people's lives. And this is the part where I'm grossed out by our government.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think I really have much to add to that. It's really interesting because I live in a state that is on the border. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that there's no issues at the border, but I do think that they're being trumped up like that. I think they're being trumped up a little bit, for sure. But like you said, you start shipping, you can't sit there and talk about, human trafficking and stuff like that and point your fingers at liberals and Democrats when you're sitting there putting immigrants on buses and planes and shipping them to Democratic cities to play a political game, right? Instead of actually fixing the problem, spending millions and tens of millions of taxpayer dollars, just to own the liberals. And then you want to
champion and parade, the murder of a young girl because of said bust individual.
Lake and Riley,
right?
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it's all a game. and it does have real consequences. And this is the part where we, as a nation, need to really figure out where do we want this to go,
Yeah,
because we are a nation of immigrants. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So
absolutely.
how do we want that to look? Plain simple.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I think you and I are both on the same page with that one. But like you said, state rights. So stop pointing the finger at Biden. Then
Yeah.
get your shit
Own
together.
it.
Get your shit together, Texas.
Own
And
it.
stop blaming the Democrats and get your shit done.
Done.
So if you say this is going to fix the problem, let's see you fix the problem.
And it's funny, one of my conservative friends I was arguing with, he was like, because he's from Florida, or lives in Florida now, I should say. And he was like, see, Texas is handling the immigration, whatever. I go, just like DeSantis, you have nothing to offer this conversation, yet you so badly want to be a part of it. And that's why you're jumping in. And I go, if you're not a part of the border, you shouldn't really be talking about, and I mean that as in like landlocked, if you're bumped up with. And he goes, well, New York's not a border state. And I go, I'm sorry. Do you know that if you drive north, you will reach Canada through New York? Just so we're on the same page. But it was so interesting because I could then understand that he doesn't see Canada the same way as he sees, which made me think, because it's light, it's okay, but because it is brown, you have an issue with it. I go, your bias is showing right now, my brother. Your bias is showing. I go, so you're okay with the French coming in? You're okay with the English coming in? I go, let me tell you, man, you're not that educated. Public school failed you, and we went to the same school. I don't know what you were paying attention to,
bro. I do talk to some people who went to school with sometimes, and I'm like, we graduated from the same place?
Same liberal school. But hey, to each his own.
Speaking of former liberals, I wanted to talk a second about Musk's new Neuralink.
Yes.
So it is coming out that one of the first, or I think it's the first.
He's the first. First patient.
Yep, the first brain chip implant patient is playing online chess. So what do you think of that, bro?
It happens. But again, this is not Elon sitting in the laboratory making this. This is a team of people that just work for the company that are far smarter than he, and probably don't even have an X account. Let's be honest. And they're looking into the future. And some of the conversations, some of the topics that are happening is that in the next 10 years, you're going to see 100 years worth of technology coming at you. Because every 6 months, we're making extraordinary leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to be really exciting. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be Jetsons by next year. But the fact that this is going to give people a chance to have a better life on so many different fronts, it's like this is just a step. But, who is it going to be for? Clearly, this individual is getting a taste of something that nobody can even imagine.
Yeah.
But just to think, it's almost like taking your first step and being an adult to actually know that you're doing it. This is quite.
Or like those ones where you hear the people hear for the first time.
Right. Yeah. Or see, see colors of those who are colorblind. It's just that gift. And this is the part where I'm really rooting for technology.
Yeah. This is, this is one of those things I think we've been waiting for. Of course, my liberal, because I pay so much attention to what Musk says online, just him having anything to do with it makes me go, eh. But you can't deny the good that it's doing clearly, and the potential good that it can do. So just from reading this and seeing the initial outcomes, I would say that it's worth even the government putting some money into it to see, because it has the potential to do some good things. So
absolutely. But this is also a part where I'm a huge anime fan, but Ghost in the Shell, and I'm not talking about that bullshit that Scarlett Johansson was a part of. I mean the actual original, classic shit that came out back in the 80s and 90s. And the show still runs till current events till today. But a lot of the cyberlink, all this stuff, this is all part of the show, and it's all the cybernetics. And I'm like, yeah, it's happening. Like it's happening in our lifetime. And so this is going to be where you can almost have your mind connected to the internet, which is kind of crazy and
Yeah.
out of this world to think about.
But
But
it's where we are.
anything can happen, and if we're looking at misinformation and proxy wars and certain attacks via information and what we're doing, it makes me a little nervous of your mind being connected to
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
source. So it's just certain things. And your brother chimed in with the cyberpunk. You
Yep.
know, it's one of those things. Ghost in the shell. It is one of those things where it's like it's happening.
Hey, real quick, we got a little hater in here. Hey, Ricky Bobby, when you said anybody can pick up a mic, we've got 2,000 people watching us right now. So apparently we're doing all right, fuck boy.
Oh, well, hey, Ricky Bobby.
Hey, Ricky Bobby, have a good weekend, douche. So on that note, let's move on to something a little closer to home for you and I. The Chrysler parent, Stellantis, is laying off 400 about 400 employees.
Yeah, this is well, please take it away. I want to know your thoughts. I know that you have personal ties to
Yeah, I mean,
auto industry.
My dad worked at this building, in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which is where the headquarters for Chrysler used to be, which is now Stellantis, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you never want to see anybody getting laid off. And like you were pointing out in the green room before we came on, it seems to be some white collar jobs, people losing their jobs, software.
Here I am. I'm getting fired. Ricky Bobby just fired me. Ricky Bobby just fired me.
I need a new host. Anybody out there?
I feel like Candace Owens right now. Thanks, Ricky Bobby.
The pay isn't very good, but
you got to be funny first and foremost.
You have to be funny. Yeah. But no, I just it to me it feels like watching just the last breath of the car and company that we knew being Chrysler. It's essentially gone now. There isn't really anything there. I remember my dad said when they purchased the company and when the Germans purchased it in '97 and it became Daimler Chrysler, he said they're going to gut this company because they don't want all of it. They want Jeep and truck. I remember my dad telling me that, and sure as shit, that was what happened. They basically they sold everything else off and kept Jeep and truck, Jeep and Ram truck.
Yeah.
So
this is one of those things where I'm seeing those small victories that we see with unions, like the workers who are with UPS and they got that pay increase. And then it was like, oh my God, this is great. The people are organizing, they're coming together and they're making moves. And then just months later, UPS is like, we're firing X, Y, and Z people. Like, yeah, we gave you that raise, but now you're going to work extra for it, and with less backup. Where with this, I see it as this is the part of technology, right? We're heading into the AI phase. We're heading into the autonomous phase. And you're going to see how that's going to roll downhill. So you're going to have more computers and more robots building these devices. And then you're going to start seeing more and more robots driving said devices, right? So you're looking at all the truck drivers. You're looking at the taxi drivers. That's going to be next, which they're working on literally as we're speaking right now. And so it's one of those things where we got to start thinking about how do we all move forward into this future.
Yep.
And this is one of the biggest things. I actually, we need to follow back up about what's happening with Andrew Yang's universal income, what he was trying to set up. We actually need to follow that up and do that in another show with all the updates. But it's with this, them firing the white collar jobs, the engineers. This is something where it is AI. Instead of having 4 people in there that are working on the equation, you have 2 to 3, and it's been replaced by an AI individual, and then at some point it's going to be 1 person with AI, and you're going to get rid of those 4 or 3 positions that are left. And so this is the future that we all need to start paying attention to.
Yeah.
And prepare for.
I agree. It sucks. And it's really interesting because, and I'm just going to tie it together to something interesting here. I talk about the way we're raising my kids, my 2 kids in particular, and, they do virtual school. So they still have a teacher, that we interact with and that they interact with every day. They have classmates, it's just instead of going physically to a school, they stay home.
Yeah.
They have their own space, their own desks, the computer, they have everything they need. And it also allows Jen and I to keep a really close eye on how they're doing. So like we know the homework they're doing, we know everything they're supposed to get done. We know the testing they have coming up. It allows us to be very engaged, which we like. But it also allows us, like, if we want to go on a vacation, they can get their schoolwork done by Wednesday, and we can have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we can go, chill. So
Right.
we also like the lifestyle that it provides us. And but I keep telling folks, we have to raise our kids for the world that they're going to be living in, not the world that we're living in now, and not the world that
Right.
we grew up in. And the reality is that they're going to need to be doing something like what we're doing right now. Creating content online is going to become such a big, uh, niche market, I guess you could call it. But just with AI running everything, it's going to be AI sharing everything. So it's going to be them,
You're gonna
it's
have your own
sharing
personal
content.
assistant. Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
too. I mean, they already kind of do have that, but
Right.
it's just putting out content, video, all that kind of stuff. That's what the future is going to be.
It's like Ready
TikTok
Player
already
One,
look.
where you're gonna live
Yeah,
online almost.
exactly.
Chime in.
Dude, totally. And
Which we
then,
kinda
I
are.
mean,
We kinda are. We're on the first steps of it.
look at the Oculus, look at the
Right.
Apple
Yeah.
thing. We're already
Yeah.
headed there. In 10, 15 years, we're going to be looking back at this podcast and go, holy shit, look how far we've come technology wise. They were playing chess, in their brain in 2024, in 2034,
Right.
they're making people walk that couldn't walk before. So,
It right. But some of the comments are actually chiming in right now that are really brilliant. A girl from Brooklyn just brought up the fact of like the isolation of what this world is kind of what it's bringing right to the forefront, and in that we're already seeing that with this generation. Gen X, no, I'm sorry, Gen Z has the highest rate of feeling isolation. And the next one, which is Omega, what they started Alpha. They're trying to figure out this new name, whatever. Um,
yeah.
but it's this right now we're figuring out some of that some of this equation of the isolation. We always talk about this, you and I. My biggest thing is just disconnecting and going out, right? I don't
Mhm.
have all of the social media that you're the platforms you're talking about. I know I
Yeah.
do this with you, and then I just chime out into the real world, where people like whatever this some of your haters that come in here, which I love. We welcome them
Me
all.
too.
I'm glad that your way of spending your nights are with us. So you're clearly lonely, but welcome.
Yep.
Um,
Welcome.
it's one of those.
We accept everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um,
I just want to address this though, girlfriend book. The isolation though, and I think this is kind of what you were touching on, Ian.
yeah,
That's a choice. They still have friends that they make online, and stuff like that. So then it's up to us as parents to be like, call the parents and be like, hey, our kids, they get along in class. Would you be interested in meeting up so the kids could do something?
right,
It's just different. You don't there's more than one way to socialize your kids. You don't have to send them to school to get that socialization, and they're still socializing. It's just in a different way. They're going
right,
into a breakout room, and they get to talk, and they've all got their cameras on, and it's not physically in person. So then it's up to us as the parents to um what's the word I'm looking for? Not circumvent, but it's up to us to add that into their diet, to
right.
find other ways for them to socialize and get out and do things. So, yeah, there's always a pro and con to everything. Like we acknowledge the isolation, but at the same time, our kids don't get bullied and they don't know what the fuck an active shooter drill is. So for me right now, where we're at as a society, I'll take the isolation over the shit that they're exposed to at school.
Right. And even your brother just chimed in saying that you can feel isolated even at school. But that's one of my biggest. I'd have to say, as a new parent, one of my biggest fears is the idea of training my kid being trained to for a school shooting drill, and I think it's the
Can I name
dumbest.
that in there?
I think it's the dumbest thing, because all you're doing is also training the little domestic terrorist that's with them on
Yeah.
what the drills are. So it's like it's one of those things. I just, I don't, it just doesn't seem like the right solution. I feel like there's something that we need to target. It's a Band-Aid over, a sinking ship is what that is, but who knows?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to sort through the actual. Let me get rid of this douchebag.
Oh,
There we go. That way I can see
one guy
people
trying to bring you to a conservative circle jerk.
Yeah, that way I can see the people that actually want to talk.
Actually add to the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man, don't silence conservative voices that offer nothing to the topic.
So speaking of the conversation here, I think we need to talk about this before we go off the air. So Russia and China vetoed a U.S. resolution calling for immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
Yeah.
Give me your reaction.
Well, I know that you and I we jump on this from time to time when we go into where some you and I think differently on some of this, and at the same time I think we're also on a line in some of this, and I have to say it bothers me when you tell me that Israel is going for a land grab, and I do feel like there is a conflicting story here that is happening. And some of that is that the West Bank has been always an issue with settlers. And I always try to isolate that from what this war is in general.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that we all need to be protesting is what's happening in the West Bank and also this settlement situation. When you look deeper into it and you look at who the settlers are and you look at who is also pushing for this conservative movement, you see them hand in hand, really locked in. Yeah. And this is the part where we're looking at the people of Israel to stand up, which they really were leading up to October 7th. And when you think about the people who were most targeted and suffered the ultimate consequences, they were the people who were pro-Palestinian. They were pro two-state solution. They were there helping out, actually shuttling people from Gaza to Israeli hospitals who needed the help. And it's so tragic that on that day, the people that they thought that they were there for, to help, to care for, and to build with a brighter future, they were then quickly realized that they were betrayed. Right.
Yeah.
And my biggest beef, it really was aimed at the left here in America, who tried to, who missed their mark on messaging, and they tried to turn this to a black-white thing. They tried to simulate this as colorism. They tried to implement this and maybe feel more at home with this struggle because they don't understand that struggle. Right. And I always ask everybody, why don't you go point out an Arab and an Israeli to me right now and tell me the difference? They can't. When you look at brown skin next to brown skin, you can't.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it really has been so agonizing to deal with this, because you and I have always talked about how it's the innocent people who are really suffering the most out of this. Yeah. And at the same time, you're looking at how everybody was pretty much shipped, pushed, forced into Rafah, and how this feels like the last stronghold or last piece of hope that's happening there. And yet every conversation that comes from ceasefire is just targeted at Israel. Stop doing this. And at the same time, it's like, but Israel is literally defending itself from a terrorist organization that was well funded by Iran, and literally said on the mic, we will continue to do this. And it really made me think, because I'm trying to find sources everywhere. I'm really deep diving into this on just the psyche of where we're at. And the conversation that I keep coming back to is, if you were a fireman and you were putting out a fire, would you stop after 80% of putting out the fire?
Right.
And I really think to myself, like, you have to go all the way through. And the tragic part of this, which I'm not condoning any of this death of anybody, but the part that I keep coming back to is they have to finish Hamas because of the organization that is built there. But at the same time, how do they protect every single life that is not a part of this? And I know that you and I have reached out to each other and we've talked about there is that element of an island or something to get them off and get them out of the way for the moment, because Hamas is literally deep rooted into the bedrock. And it's how do you uproot all of this, you know?
Yeah.
And so we as Americans who have been helping with tax dollars and funding military have to have our questions and we have to do our thing. But the vetoes that we've done up until this point, and now seeing that we're in this election year and Biden sees from the uncommitted votes, it's like we do have to find a better solution. But at the same time, we need to let a country do what they need to do, what's best for them. So, you know, I'm on the fence, but I already know that Russia and China have, they want to see us fail on a global level. And when you start seeing who has ties with who, and also on top of that, when you see China looking at Taiwan, Russia looking at Ukraine, you already know what's at stake here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't know if you want to add something to that. My rants are not as intense.
Hey, if you want to take the bipolar disorder that comes with those rants, you're more than happy.
Oh, you keep that for both of us.
I like that. That was beautiful. You know, I'm at a point now where I think, you know, like I said, Joe Biden isn't the prime minister of Israel. He isn't the leader of Hamas. And, you know, I think at this point, you know, we need to, like you said, we need to really reevaluate what we're doing, what we're supporting, make sure that, you know, we're sending the money to the right things if we are going to send support.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a hot potato for Joe Biden and the Democrats, like you said, going into an election year. But like you said, I think we also need to keep an eye on, you know, other factors, which is Russia. You know, they have their reasons for wanting to see this fail. China has their reasons for wanting to see this fail. And yeah, I just I don't want to see a bunch of our tax dollars keep going to
settlements. Not at all.
Not at all. But it's just, like I said, like you said, and we keep saying, it's not a black and white issue. You know, there's such a big gray area with this, you know, especially with the debate of, you know, with the amount of anti-Semitism going on right now. And then also the debate back and forth of, you know, can you support both, you know, innocent Palestinians and innocent, you know, Israelis? Can, you know, is there a way that you can support both? And that's where I'm stuck at right now. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the answer is yes. You can be on the side of life, love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could definitely what we are deep rooted in, but at the same time, when you're looking at people only having one side, like I don't know if I trust anybody who stands on one side of any of this topic.
Yeah.
You know, if you aren't as looking at it as such a complexity that it is.
Yeah, you know, and again, there are people that are getting ready to starve, you know, but it, as callous as it might sound, again, our president is not the one that is creating that outcome, you know, that situation. So
but we have to deep dive more into that starvation. Hamas is taking a lot of resources. People are selling. I mean, I'm just saying you have to look at all of it.
Yeah,
it is a terrorist organization that is literally not fighting for its people. They're using them as a shield. And how do we get that help to them? And even them trying to drop food to people, it kills people. It's like, you know, we're trying to build the dock. We're trying to build something there, but we just need to get these people into a safe location and get them out of this situation.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like not enough Americans are paying attention to the stuff that, you know, that is trying to be done to alleviate some of these problems. You know, like you said, if they had a dock or a port, that would open up a new route of being able to give them some food and support. And it's probably going to be a lot safer than dropping it from the sky and, you know, risking parachutes not opening and going into buildings and killing people.
Right.
But again, I don't think it would be fair to sit here and say that the United States government and Joe Biden haven't at least attempted to get food and some aid to these folks.
There's been
But
major conversations behind closed doors that we don't even know about.
Yeah,
And that's
but
that's
like
very evident.
but like you said, we can't argue the fact that there have been numerous occasions where aid has been either dropped or driven in, and it has been taken, from the terrorists
Yeah.
or by the terrorists. Sorry. So that's a fair point. Like you said, the black and white part, like she said, is people are starving. The gray area is why is it happening and who is responsible for it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But even Al Sharif looking at the hospital, the terrorists took it over again. And it's just like, when you talk about a ceasefire, which I said to you last time, those who are saying, we need a ceasefire now, it's like, yes, but that only works with 2 people participating.
Right.
If Israel stops today and they just hands up, don't shoot, that does not stop the rockets coming from a terrorist organization. That does not stop them getting their people back. So if the people are to be released and given back, you would see a lot of change immediately.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that this is deep rooted and Israel's not stopping, and they do not care what America feels about their situation.
Right.
They are literally fighting their neighbor. We have never been in that. We have never fought Canada in today's day and age. We have never fought Mexico in today's day and age with today's weaponry. And we're not at war like that.
True.
In our continent. So it's like for us to have so much to say about this, it's like, this is, which we talked about, the 4th war that has happened between these 2 individuals, these 2 parties.
Yeah. We also, the only counterpoint I would say to that is that when you start sending, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars of taxpayer dollars, over there, I think there's a level of expectation of, I don't want to say a say, but it's like, hey, we're supporting you. We're supporting this movement that you're doing. We're supporting your response to a terrorist attack.
Right.
But with that, we're expecting some things to either happen or not happen. Whatever the demands are, which way or the other. I think it's with anything. When you start taking, millions and billions of people's money, that there's always strings attached to that.
Which is very evident right now. We have been, Blinken has been there numerous times having those conversations.
Yeah.
And another great conversation about, Israel being there is going to create more terrorists. I really want us to link back to Nazis. Nazis still exist today, but they're not a government.
Down.
They're not a government. They don't run Germany. They don't have a home base. They will always be that. It is an ideology. Hamas is an ideology. They have to remove the organization, the militarization. They have to remove that power that they are holding their own people with.
Yeah.
But Hamas will always exist. Get that part out of it. Once you start really thinking of it that way, like they are Nazis. Nazis are in North Carolina, not where they started, but that's where they are today.
Well,
and we look at them the same way.
A girl from Brooklyn, and I think we've talked about this before, if not on air, I know we have privately.
Yeah.
The more Israel keeps doing this is actually going to create more terrorists. Now, I personally I hate throwing that just on Israel's doorstep, but I think this conflict, I feel comfortable in saying the conflict as a whole is creating the next generation of extremists. The facts is that, over 40% of, Gaza was kids, under the age of 18 when this started. So they've lost, the ones that are still alive have, potentially lost their mothers, their fathers, their uncles, their sisters, brothers, cousins.
Yeah.
They're going to remember this. And just like we would, during Pearl Harbor, we want retribution.
Well, just like Japan, Hiroshima.
Exactly.
But who's one of our biggest allies right now?
Japan.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying we're headed down this road.
Yeah.
We've been down this road, and like we keep saying, I don't see a great outcome for this either way. And I do believe that we are creating the next, not we, this is creating another generation of extremists. And there's a part of me that fucking understands.
I mean, I do see the standpoint of removing Saddam Hussein. You remove that, it created a void, and then terrorism grew out of that.
An even
right?
worse thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing with this is also, which we're trying to warn them, you going down this path, you're going to. But at the same time, they are there on the ground level seeing how, because keep in mind, they're stating 85% of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip were celebrating October 7th. So already it's there.
Yeah.
UNRWA failed miserably. They were already educating this and continuing to perpetuate this hate from something from so long ago. When you hear River to the Sea, that's not a call for peace at all.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I give Palestine, much like I give the Republican Party, not saying they are the same, but they're great with slogans. And like Donald Trump, he's great with the slogan.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about it privately. You got to be careful with what you share and what's going on, and really cite your sources. How many hospitals has Israel destroyed? Sorry, they haven't destroyed hospitals. The information always comes out late that it was a missed rocket from Hamas or something else happened. And it's just like, here we are. They stormed into a hospital and they took out 50 now armed gunmen. And it's just like, okay, they didn't destroy the hospital, but here's these insurgents that keep flocking back into it because that void is there.
Yeah.
It's more complex. And the only thing that you and I have always stand on is that no one cares about the Palestinian people, because if they did, they would actually be focused on getting rid of Hamas, protesting Hamas. Hamas has to go. Yep.
Well, with that, I want to circle back to some of our culture and some of our issues, and this will be the last story before we go into our quick positives. But you sent me this one, and I definitely wanted to put it on the show because I found it quite interesting.
Yeah.
But this is a South Carolina woman who, she passed away, I believe, last year, it said, but she won a settlement over Black ancestral land. And the settlement concedes that the Wright family owns the property in the middle of Bailey Points, which was a planned 29-acre neighborhood. The company cannot contact the Wright family about purchasing the land anymore, and there will be a privacy fence erected between the Wright family's land and the new construction. I just freaking love this.
Construction fucking around, found out. Homegirl was not playing around.
So her land in the middle of this development can't be touched.
Yeah. And they tried their hardest
Yeah.
to disrupt this woman's life. They literally put her through so much hell. And I hope that none of that had to put a stress on her. They gave her, an early grave. Yes, she was in her 90s when she passed, but she looks just fine in that photo. She looked like she could have been 100 and something. All right. Like she could have
crack.
Hey man, ain't that the truth? And it's one of those things where when you look at that, you're like, okay, they really did put her through the hell, but she won. And her family gets to literally reap the rewards of that. And it's so beautiful. Just like Bruce's beach in California. They gave it back to the original family, even though they took that land right there. And it's a prominent area. So it's it's just another win for people who are really owed.
Yep. So unfortunately, she didn't get to live to see the win, but she had 4 children and 40 grandchildren and dozens of great grandchildren. So this will be a solid decision that, for her whole family.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I hope that generations to come, they get to enjoy that.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to end on our happy note. So what's your positive for the week?
Real fast. X-Men 97. I get to be on my nerdy black shit. All right. Disney Plus, you came correct. I felt like a little kid back in the 90s. I watched it, and they brought some of the original voice actors back for some of the cast and crew. I laughed so hard when I said, they left Rogue's 90s looking body back in the 90s. They said we can't draw that in today's world. So I said she no longer has that chicken and waffles body. She has more of a vegan diet. So they made her. They lost a couple things, a couple assets. All right. So, but the storylines they really so far it's just 2 episodes they dropped. But X-Men 97, I got to give it to them. My whole entire family, my siblings, we were sitting there, as kids watching that show and playing as characters growing up, and so we're all just on a group chat chatting with each other. So I just love that it brought us all together the night of its release. So yeah, so that's my feel good.
Awesome, I love it. So mine this week, I actually have a photo, or is it a video? I think it's a video. So I'm gonna play them just because it's cool. If you didn't see this, I don't know if you guys got to see it on the East Coast. This was a rocket that took off from Vandenberg. It used to be Air Force Base. I guess it's Space Force Base now, SFB. I gotta get used to that. But it was a SpaceX rocket that was taking a payload up. And my kids and I were waiting at McDonald's for some fries. And I think it was Dominic who said, look up, look over there. And this is what I saw. What is that? Whoa. So I thought it was a comet. And I came home and it was actually my neighbor put the video up and said that of what it was. And she got a much better view from our neighborhood. Yeah, so we had some sweet views.
That's a beautiful thing.
Dude, it was so cool looking.
Be honest, did you think that it was an alien at first?
I thought it was a comet.
I thought it was a comet.
I thought it was a comet going by really, really close. But then I was sitting there, and towards the end of the video, I noticed that it looked like something launched. So like the tail, it goes up, and then it started going this way. So I was like, it looks like something launched. And it was when I got home, and my neighbor had put online exactly what it was, like even the SpaceX, like what it was, what they were taking up, like all of it. So I was like, oh shit, it was a rocket. No kidding. So yeah, I had no idea what it was, when we first saw it. It was when I got home.
And that's beautiful footage. Your neighbor and you.
The neighbor nailed it.
That.
Yeah, it was
so wild.
So cool. So everybody, on the West Coast was watching that.
Yeah.
Watching that go down, and pictures were going up everywhere. But we literally the kids and I were outside and literally got to see it, which was cool.
I 100% push people. If you have not gotten to see a shuttle rocket launch, like that's like a dope family function thing. But for you, you're seeing it at a distance where it's out there. It's already in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love it.
It looked like it was riding the atmosphere or something. It was cool.
Don't tell Flat Earth that. Don't tell them that shit. They will commit.
No, it was really good timing. It was like serendipitous. It was just me and the kids. Jen was at home doing homework. But that's our doggy mascot.
This is this is how I already know when Eno joins us. It's like he's coming over here to say, wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, dude.
Wrap it up.
It's time to go for a walk. I gotta pee.
That's what it's always at the end. He comes over here.
Yeah. But hey, again, we're almost at 2,500 people watching. So thank you again for your support, for amplifying my voice, amplifying our clips that we put out. I say every week, and particularly this week when people were coming at me personally and putting bounties on my head and stuff like that, the support that you all show me and my family, and that the fact that you guys care about my kids and, want to know that everything's okay. And, I don't take your guys' support for granted. And I truly, truly appreciate and love y'all. So with that, thank you so much for helping us. Ian, you got anything before I sign out?
Like, subscribe, hit the notification. Fuckery on Fridays. This is what we do. We love you guys. Ryan, love you, man. Definitely keep doing you. We love your voice. These trolls, hey, it is going to be what it is. We'll see you on Friday. Come back. Say some more bullshit. We love to see you.
What's the name of the Brooklyn sidekick?
I'm sorry. I'm Ian. Sorry that you missed that, Jenny. I saw your name.
Did she mean that or the dog?
Good point. Good point. I just got roasted. That's Eno.
Nice.
Eno.
He's like, I just got roasted.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for roasting me live on this show.
Yeah, but no, seriously, I know so many of you guys do have my back, and if I haven't gotten a reply to your DM yet, I'm trying to reply to them all. Just know that I see you, I appreciate you, and my wife does too. Like seriously, she sees the stuff too, and she really, it's one of the things that she allows me to keep doing this because she sees how your guys support and the fact that you're not going to let this stuff slide. You're not going to let them coming after the kids slide. And,
No.
yeah, that's what I
No,
love
we're in your
about
corner,
y'all.
brother. You know we're in your corner. This is a marathon. This ain't no, little race. This is no.
Yep.
We're doing this long run, so we're gonna do our thing.
Yes, sir.
And Jenny, it's INO. It's Italian for little, and let me tell you, he's like 7 pounds, fully grown.
I love that dog.
That's what he is.
If I ever come to New York, I'm gonna try to put him in my luggage.
And I promise you, he's gonna fight you because he thinks he's a pit bull. Tiny as fuck.
That's why I'd want him.
He's a fighter, man. He's a fighter. He cracks me up. He's so adorable. But anyway, love you guys all, man. Thank you again for chiming in.
Yep.
And to you trolls.
But to Kaylin, and real quick before we do sign out, a shout out to Kaylin here. She's always in the comment sections, being our moderator and also promoting us, online during the show, because we can't share the links, but she does it for us. So to our hype girl, Kaylin, thank you so much as always.
Yes, you're the best.
Everybody else, much love. Keep fighting, and we'll see you guys next.